Once you meet her, you fall in love with her. You couldn't help her.
She was one of the most kindest, gracious ladies in the world. No doubt about it.
So Nellie really was she was the most sweetest woman in this world, with her poodles with her all the time.
Because you got to realize, people in Natchez, Nellie was coming up during the Ku Klux Klan, and when blacks were supposed to still be, pardon the expression, niggers. You know, the white people, this so-called society around here, is full of bullshit.
She came up in the early 1900s, no telling what kind of racism she's faced in her life. Probably there was something in her that set her apart, you know. I think she was a lot smarter than most all of us, probably, because she made it work. And
she was smart enough to stay on the same side as the people that were in office.
She was well known in Natchez for her generosity, and I always found it a little ironic that someone who ran a business that was supposedly so immoral gave so generously from her heart and didn't want anything in return. I mean, she was one of the bigger benefactors that we had that was one of those behind-the-scenes type of people. She was an amazing person, amazing woman.
I remember there were many students that she paid their tuition, full tuition.
It was just a fact of life, and it was just like, you know, the gambling was a fact of life, the liquor was a fact of life, it was the Mississippi River flowing by was a fact of life. I was dealing with civil rights problems, and I was dealing with a city that was broke. I was dealing with trying to put people in the right position to get more people in here. Nellie was probably the farthest thing from my mind, because I had no intention of ever closing her up.
She told me one time that her customers, when they come and they bought what they wanted and left, that she still had the same amount of merchandise left that she had when they got there.
He was like a peeping Tom. He wanted to peep in at the girls. And so one night she just got tired and shot him.
Now it told me, said I should have killed him. She called him something rather bad and said I should have killed him.
I remember when the soldier boy went up there, and such a woman struggling was caught at the bus station.
I think it's amazing that Nellie was able to, more so probably than anybody, to survive that, because she had absolutely every reason not to. She was black, she was a woman, she had a business that was against the law.
She was doing, I think she had a black book on certain peoples in the community that did dabble up there, because she had to meet them all.
Once we started clearing the smoke out of there, it was quite obvious that because it was such a small amount of fire to have that much, have her be burned like she was, and have that much in that small room.
Across the street, there was a still fire, glowing kind of embers. We found out later that was the culprit.
Some might say, depending on their belief system, that she got what she deserved. You know, that was the Lord's vengeance on her, and so on and so forth. And then others that just kind of looked at her as one of those things in history that added color to the South and to the state of Mississippi in particular.
You know, you look at her life, and all of us have fascinating stuff that happens, and no one writes about it or tells the story. And that's why telling this story is just fascinating, and it is just so important that it gets told.